Hi, my name is Andy from Piranha Audiovisual. When we visit churches to talk about streaming their services to YouTube or Facebook, we get asked very similar questions. So this video is going to be answering those questions. Thankfully not. We deliberately designed solutions. We spent most of lockdown considering what was the most easy to use option for your volunteers. And we know that churches aren't run by engineers, so most of our solutions for streaming services, once we've done the setup for you as part of the installation, all your staff have to do, or your volunteers have to do, is press one, maybe two or three buttons, but certainly we've got churches that are using systems where they press one button to start the streaming of the service and one button to stop the streaming of the service. It generally takes 2 days to complete an installation in most churches. Some have took 3 days, but none have took more than 3 days so far. It depends how many cameras we install, and it depends on the nature of the building, but generally 2 days. Our solutions are compatible with virtually every social media platform there is, so definitely YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, Twitch, all the common ones, and probably many that you've not heard of as well. The minimum is obviously one. Whether you use more than one is in many ways an artistic decision. What we need to think about with streaming our services is the viewing experience that folks have at home. So if there is just one camera, then that means folks at home see one view of the whole service, which generally speaking needs to be a wider view of the stage or the platform to ensure that any movements on stage are picked up. So if the vicar is stood behind a lectern or a pulpit, and then maybe somebody comes to a read at a side lectern, to ensure that we capture all that action, then the view needs to be that bit wider, which is fine, but if you're watching it for half an hour, 40 minutes, can get a little bit tedious perhaps. So if you have more than one camera, then that gives us options to have one camera which is more of a wider view, and then a second camera that is more zoomed in. Now with the second camera we generally use pan, tilt, zoom cameras, which is a bit techie, but it basically means that the lens on the camera can move and zoom in on different areas of the stage. So one camera can be zoomed in on the lectern, and at the press of a button it can then be zoomed in on a reading mic, or the altar, or maybe your band if you have a live band in your church. So one and two is probably the most common setup that we do. Some churches have had three. We worked with a church in South Manchester which was quite wide and square, and their stage went wall to wall across the width of the church, so they had 3 cameras, one on the left, one in the centre and one on the right, and that worked really well for them, but generally speaking we do 2. The cameras out of their box are generally white or grey, some are black. So what we generally tend to do is actually paint the cameras. We can't paint the lens sections, which are generally black with the glass lens, but the main body of the cameras we've painted a number of times to match the decor of the church. So typically it's a dark, rich wood brown colour that we've painted them. Yes, there's a couple of ways of doing that. The technology that we use to stream the services to YouTube can have a memory stick plugged into it. So that's the easiest option, and you just press a button and it starts recording to the memory stick. But the online providers also generally offer the option to record the services, the stream that way. sometimes at a different quality. So the best option, if you do want an archive of the services, is to go with the memory stick option, just plugged into the back of the little video box that we supply, and then you can just unplug that at the end of the service and plug it in your laptop and copy the files across. The cameras we use are full high definition. So that's 1920 by 1080, which is a bit techy, but it's kind of the quality that you're used to watching, that most people are used to watching on their tellies at home. Full high definition. Well, the cost of the streaming solutions depends on how many cameras you have, but also on the nature of the building and how fiddly the installation is. We want the installation to be as minimal looking as possible, and we know some of your churches are listed. So the combination of camera number and the nature of the install determines the cost. A single camera system can be from around and about the £1,000 mark plus VAT. And then as we go up from there with more cameras, or in a bigger church it would be more than that. To get an accurate figure, we'll come and provide a free on-site survey and quotation for you. So as I say, there's no charge for that. So if it's something you're interested in and want to know more, give us a ring and we'll pop and have a look and give you an idea, a better idea, when we come and see you. Generally speaking, broadband is best. We do have some churches that have tried using a mobile phone and it has kind of worked, but it's a bit glitchy. A dedicated broadband line is really the best option, and there are a couple of techie details that you need to know about that, and namely that's the speed of the broadband. So generally speaking, you buy broadband for your home according to the download speed, so how fast can you get information from the internet into your home. But for streaming we need the opposite, we need a good upload speed, and YouTube requires 3 megabits per second or higher to get a good quality stream. Now when you see that written down, it would be 3, capital M, and then a lowercase b and a lowercase s, 3 megabits per second. If you've got broadband installed in your church already, you can do a speed test to see how fast your upload speed is. If you go to speedtest.net, you can use that app within your internet browser, so Firefox or Safari or Chrome, whatever you use, and it will do a speed check for you, and it will give you a readout of your download and upload speeds. So as part of our installation, we will wire from a connection on your sound desk or your amplifier to the camera streaming equipment. And that's it. We'll wire the two together, and then whatever sound comes out of your speakers in church will also be sent to those at home. Yes, we'll wire the song projection system into the video equipment that we provide. We'll need to assess your system when we come and do a site survey. We'll need to gain an understanding of what system you're using and how it's wired in, but yes, absolutely. No, absolutely not. No, it'll be myself or my business partner and brother Steve who comes along, and we'll chat through the options, we'll show you the equipment and show you how it works, and we'll look at the building, suggest where cameras would be best installed to get the best views, and we'll show you the options of what's available, and as I say, talk you through it. We'll want to understand how you conduct your services, just so that we ensure that we do factor everything in, but no, there's no hard sell. Yes, we'll happily come to your church and bring the equipment with us. We'll show you how it works and show you how easy it is to stream your services. Piranha Audio Visual do all things technical for churches, so we do sound systems, stage lighting, song projection, TV displays, we do CCTV, we do Wi-Fi and networking. We look after all things technical in churches. And we also do training, commonly with the sound team, to help them understand how the mixing desk works to get a better sound quality. But if you've got a band in your church, then we sometimes do a day's training where we will spend the morning working with the tech team and then bring the band in at lunchtime and then spend the afternoon working with the tech team and the band to improve the sound of your musicians in church, both for the congregation, but often if you have speakers on stage, foldback monitors, often we can improve the quality of sound that your musicians hear as well. Why indeed? Yes, Piranha Audio Visual was started in 2008. I took ownership of it in 2012, and because we had an existing client base and an established reputation within the industry, I kept the same name. The cameras need to be secured to the structure of the church. Now, in some instances, they can be secured or drilled into the walls or to woodwork, and that's hidden and it's not a problem at all. What we have done in some churches is made custom brackets for the cameras to mount onto. So in one church we welded a bracket and had that painted up so that it clamped to a handrail on a balcony, and that can simply be unbolted and taken away, and no one would ever know. There's no damage done at all. In another Church of England church, at the back of the church where we wanted to mount the camera, there was a hook on the wall. No one knows why, but there's a hook on the wall. So we made a bracket that would hook onto that, and then we just had one small hole at the bottom just to secure it to the brickwork. We know that we need to be sensitive to the buildings, and as I say, we can design bespoke solutions to allow us to mount the cameras without damaging the fabric of the building. That's a difficult question to answer without coming and having a look at the church and taking light meter readings. Generally speaking, the cameras will work in quite low light, but what can happen if they go into lower light mode is the picture might get a little bit grainy, so we really need to come and take some light meter readings to advise you properly on that. We don't charge for a site survey, so if you did want us to come and have a chat with you and take those readings, then that's completely free. So that's a lineup of the questions that we get asked most frequently. If you've got any more questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.